Again, I'm Ron Labonté. I'm a recently retired academic, a professor and researcher up from the University of Ottawa. And prior to that particular kind of career trajectory, I spent many years working in public health in Canada, in different provinces and internationally. Uh, when we moved from BC to Ontario in 1981 or 82, we gave up the West Coast, which is where I was born, and still love the West Coast, and then discovered this part of Ontario. And it was one of the few places in the world where, in fact, nature was taking over again. It was rewilding itself. The number of these little corridors, and all of a sudden you had the big animals coming back. We've had timber wolves here. We've had bears that have come back. And to me, there's just something positively fantastic and endearing, and maybe misleadingly optimistic, but I rather prefer to adopt an optimistic approach. It sort of says, it makes me feel good about being on the planet. It makes me feel good about myself and being here, that we can be in a space that is regenerating and becoming ever more full of life. So why do I support the land trust? Why is it important to support the land trust? Um, I think I may have mentioned that in discovering this area, the history of it, and the fact that you've got this kind of incredible regeneration of nature going on with all kinds of scrappy woods and all these Frontenac arch and overlapping forest systems that make it rather scrappy and kind of messy and kind of neat that way. Uh, in terms of the land trust, I would support any decent conservation authority, any kind of group that is trying to preserve the wilds as much as possible, to create as much space for other animals besides humans to kind of hang out. This is why we support the rat snake program, which we'll probably get to in a moment. And so the ever since I discovered that the land trust had Thunder Rock, I just thought that it was important to support it. And the one of the attractions of the land trust is that it's so local, right? It's very small. Um, Anything that's small, I think, really deserves support, especially when it's talking about preserving nature. And I know that it's got some other sites, and of course, I know about what will be the trust land right across from our cottage road. Hopefully, by next spring, that'll be up with its own little trail systems. Yeah, so about the rat snakes, which are the gray rat snakes in this part of the world, we've always had them for as long as we've had the cottage. Sometimes I've kind of kept some of the skins, and they were 10 or 12 foot long, so we've had some really big ones here. And then, of course, we knew that they were threatened. Uh, we would break for rat snakes, of course, all the time, but then learned that the trust had a program of setting up these nesting boxes, habitat for the rat snakes, to sort of encourage them to, I guess, breed a little bit more and grow a little bit more in number. So move out of the threatened status and become, I guess, a bit of a healthier population in the area. So when I found out about that, I immediately got a hold of the land trust and sort of said, yeah, you can use our property, no problem. You can put as many as you want on here. We wound up getting two. And for the first couple of years, they didn't have any signs, I guess, of the rat snakes actually using them. And then till this year, when Eureka, they came back and they sort of said, "Hey, we found 28 eggs in one of your little snake houses, birthing houses, and we found 12 or 13 or 14 in the other one." And I felt like I was a grandfather celebrating the kind of the birth of a whole generation of new, very small, very short, somewhat slithery kind of grandchildren. So yeah, I think everybody should support conservation societies. They should support land trusts and land conservancies, and we need to protect as much of this land as we possibly can, because it's disappearing very rapidly. And if we don't protect some of these niches, the biodiversity on which our own life depends will begin to disappear.